Hello and welcome to Post-Burnout.com interviews. Post-Burnout.com is a culture website dedicated to venerating burnt-out artists the world over. My name is Aaron Kavanagh and I'm the website's founder and editor-in-chief. This is our website's podcast where we publish the full interviews from our site's articles and sometimes release exclusive episodes. In this edition of Post-Burnout.com interviews, vocalist and guitarist Drew Selby and bassist Ollie Appleby of the Mancunian indie rock band Rosellas discuss their latest EP, Shadow Dancing, how it differs from their other releases, making the EP with their longtime producer Oliver Shilito and what their working relationship is like, their growth in popularity, working in a popular act while also maintaining full-time jobs, the loss of their keyboardist Luis Sullivan, their plans for their next EP, their upcoming tour, and their plans to come to Ireland. As mentioned in the interview, Rosellas will be performing across the UK this year. At the time of publication, only 3 dates are confirmed so far. On July 5th, they'll be performing at the Brit Fest in Cheshire. On July 24th, they'll be headlining the Frog and Parrot in Sheffield. That's part of the Fringe at Tramlines Festival, and that's a free show. And then finally, on August 1st, they'll be headlining the New Adelphi in Hull. Tickets for all of those shows are available in the description of this episode. Thank you very much and enjoy.
Right, let's get the audio on. Hello.
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me okay?
How you doing? Can you hear us?
Yep. Can hear you perfect. How's it going?
Yeah, I can hear you as well. Is it Aaron? Yeah?
Aaron, nice to meet you guys.
Hello, I'm Drew.
Ollie.
Perfect. Nice to meet you, lads. What I was going to say, I was going to start with this, actually, right? So, obviously Shadow Dancing just came out. We're speaking the weekend of its release, and but this year, man, like you guys have been constantly on the road, constantly touring, and that seems to be, I guess, like the story of your band. Just constantly touring, constantly release. Yeah. How do you guys do it?
How do we keep the graft going?
Exactly.
With sheer determination and belief, man.
Yeah, we're seasoned by now. Yeah. Done like close to 200 gigs or something. So.
Yeah. Is it that many?
And that's just this year.
Yeah. Sometimes feels like it, mate. No, it's one of them where, we've been doing this for a while, and I guess you learn to find a balance eventually between, you'll know from other bands that you speak to, being in a band nowadays isn't just about writing songs and performing. It's also about being a bit business savvy and being content creators, and, there's just a hell of a lot of stuff that goes into it. And I guess as we've got a little bit older and a bit more mature and more experienced, you figure out how much energy to put into those different piles to keep it churning over. Do you know what I mean? Because you can't really sack any of them off. You've got to be omnipresent across everything and sort of like keep the drive equal. But staying busy, it's not difficult for us, is it? Because it's what we want to do.
No, we split stuff up between the four of us and try and spread the load as much as we can.
Give each other roles to do and that.
Yeah.
But it's a labour of love, mate. Like, we love what we do, so we don't really see it as a chore. Do you know what I mean? It's more like, we know where we want to be. We have the ambition. We know how to get there. We're not going to get there if we don't put the graft in now. So it's just part of the deal. Do you know what I mean?
Do you enjoy the social media side of things, or is it just something that you kind of have to do?
Yeah, it's a necessity, isn't it, nowadays?
It depends.
Well, that's the thing, because I speak to different artists and they have like different relations with that. Some really actually do love doing the TikToks and they love doing that sort of things, where others are like, it's laborious, it distracts from what I want to do. Yeah.
I think it really depends, man, because there's certain things we do for TikTok and like music videos and stuff like that we're not too bothered about, man. Like, in an ideal world, someone else would do that for us, you know what I mean? But there are also, like, we do on our Twitter and that, like these cover videos where we're in our rehearsal room in our studio and we, like, multi-track record it with close mics and mix it, and we've done some originals in that style. That's always actually kind of fun, isn't it?
Yeah, we've got, like, a Facebook group where the fans keep it active, which is good to see, like, it feels a bit more of, like, a real reaction as well.
Yeah.
So the aspects of it are quite rewarding, but a lot of it's pretty tedious.
I think with TikTok especially, man, it's like, it feels like the modern day kind of X Factor where you just kind of like the judges of the algorithm. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're just literally pissing in the wind, waiting for the algorithm to pick you up by, bit of luck, how many likes you've got in the first 10 minutes, all that kind of stuff. Like, there's videos we've spent hours editing before, and we're like, yeah, this looks sick, like, this is going to do well, put it up, gets like 200 views. How can anyone enjoy that? You know what I mean? So yeah, it ebbs and flows, mate. Different things, you know.
Yeah, and then there's random crap you just spent like 2 seconds on that does really well.
Yeah,
mate, I'm not gonna lie.
yeah.
I think what's our most viewed? Is the most viewed video Still Live Forever?
Probably.
Mate, I got home from work once. I had my guitar plugged in my little like home studio set up, and I just thought like, fuck it, I'm gonna do a little bit of a video. So I started playing the Live Forever solo, and it wasn't even like anything that good. Like I just played the solo, made a bloody mistake at the end, and I sent it to the lads, and I was like, right, there's something to whack up on TikTok. Ended up getting like 280,000 views, and it's like, why? Do you know what I mean? Like, why can't that be one of our songs or our videos that does that? So, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think I think there's people who get paid very well to like know, like, do social media expertise and all that. And like, I don't know. I think it's snake oil salesmen.
It absolutely is, man. It is. It's like, it's a luck of the draw thing, and you see, like, there's a lot of bands that we follow that absolutely nail the TikTok side of stuff, and it's good to kind of have that as a framework almost to follow in a way. You know, like when we're setting up for our videos, we'll always say to each other, like, let's have a look at what so and so's done and see what they've done. But if you put the time into it and it doesn't do as well as theirs, like you say, like, you can't dwell on it, because
no, you can't read into it, because you just end up like not going to sleep because you're thinking about it. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, you've
got to get it out there, and then just like once you've hit the share button, like, it's going to do what it's going to do.
Yeah, and don't get too attached to it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you guys have been like very successful. So, I mean, do you find that success has been down to like live shows and doing gigs? Because you guys like were obviously hit pretty bad by like the COVID pandemics and the lockdowns. But through that time, you were able to actually kind of build your band's reputation through stuff you're doing online. Was that retrospectively beneficial, or?
Yeah.
That was probably the best period for social media for us, to be honest.
What, during COVID?
Yeah, because it's all we could do.
It is all we could do. Like, none of us had to work.
Like we know we've got to do it. We know we've got to do it, and we've got to get the posts out. Ultimately, we want to be gigging and playing live. I think we do better gigging in terms of like getting people on board, picking up fans, having people follow us around, and it's just like it's tangible, do you know what I mean? So
the thing that we've always had is the fact that we're good musicians live. We've rehearsed to the nines, do you know what I mean? And we're confident in our songwriting ability and how to translate that live on stage. So we know that put us in a room with anyone, we're gonna get some fans. Some people, it may not be their cup of tea. Some people, they may think we're all right. But I just know if there are people that are into good music out there, they'll look at us live on stage and think, yeah, these lads know what they're doing. Whereas when you're on TikTok and social media and you're in the melting pot of everyone else, it matters more what you look like, it matters more how the thing is framed, how viral it's gone. Like, it's not actually down to your talent as a band there. Do you know what I mean? I'm not trying to cast shade on it. There are some talented people out there on TikTok that do it, but it isn't paramount. Whereas in the live setting, that's all that bloody matters, isn't it?
Yeah, and there is a bit of a correlation, like, when we're more active, when we're gigging live, then the socials in turn do better. And that, it's hand in hand. That might be because the content's different or whatever, and we're just more busy, but everything feels better when we're active and we're gigging. I
think we were, like you say that about COVID, we were actually kind of lucky in that period that we'd only just, like, literally, how many gigs had we done before that? Like 3, 4?
Proper gigs, yeah.
Yeah, we hadn't done many gigs before that lockdown happened. I remember what it was. We'd actually got a string of dates together, like Liverpool, Leeds, Sheffield, Summit, and we did that, and then bang, it was the lockdown.
Just done them,
yeah, we'd just done them, so we felt like the ball was rolling a bit, but like, we had no fans, mate. Do you know what I mean? It was like early days, and then lockdown hit, and you and the other guitar player in the band and myself were just writing tunes every day. We were just getting content together. We were just, because we had fuck all to do, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we spent the time doing that. It actually wasn't that bad for us as a band. I've seen other bands that were like doing bits before it, and then COVID hit, and it's like, phew.
Yeah, if it was like a year later, that probably wouldn't have done well for us.
Yeah, it was heavy for some other people, man, for sure.
Well, even like you guys like even before the lockdowns, I mean, it seemed like you guys were already going very quickly. Like, you guys had just formed and already had like the slow dancing EP kind of like ready. Was that just stuff you guys had built up previously and were able to kind of commit to tape, or what's that like new music that you created specifically for this project?
What we've always had the benefit in this band of the fact that I have studied music production on the side of like being in the band and writing. So when in those early days, a lot of those first two EPs were just entirely recorded in my bedroom. Like Ollie would come down and throw the bass, we'd like program some drums in, me and Ewan would put some guitar down. Like, it was very grassroots. So I think I remember saying to you, like, when we went for a pint at the pub and we were like, let's make a band, like, let's do this. We already had that first EP, which was before Slow Dance. It's since been took off Spotify because it's garbage. We had it, and I remember saying to you, like, we've already got the tunes for it, we've got some demos, so we just fleshed them out a bit. So we had a release straight away. And that was more for our mates, do you know what I mean? It was like, we're in a band, we're not taking the piss, here's some actual music. And then the Slow Dance one came about really quick because that was like that was what me and Ewan were writing at that time. We were listening to a lot of like slower Arctic Monkeys numbers and like B-sides and stuff like that. It's got that kind of sound. It's kind of annoying that Slow Dance got picked up the way it did because it's still in our top 10 played songs. It might still even be our most streamed song.
Probably.
But it sounds nothing like us now.
Yeah, we still get people trying to get us to play it at gigs.
Yeah, people hold up on the phone like, play Slow Dance, and we've got like other bangers that are out now, and I'm just like, nah, we're just not going to play that.
They only come to see us off that one tune.
Yeah.
We're not like that.
But yeah, throughout those early days, it's very much just about write as much as you can, and then I'd start the demoing process. I'd track some sort of rough demo, get the lads involved, we'd flesh it out, and then bang, we put it out. And it was that way right up until 2023 when we signed our first sort of independent record deal. So it was just about being prolific and shoving stuff out. And maybe if I didn't have the studio connection, that might have been a bit harder. We might have had to go to a studio and pay someone properly to do it. We ended up working with our producer, who's called Oliver Shilito, and he sort of came in after the first few EPs, and me and him now sort of co-produced the music. So there's a nice like balance going on there, but it all helps being prolific, doesn't it?
Well, actually, speaking of Oliver there, you've worked with him on like so many releases now, including this current one. So I was wondering, like, like when it comes to like the relationship between like an artist and their producer, you can obviously see like, gives and takes. So what's the working relationship with Oliver like? What do you think having an external producer kind of adds to the band?
It's good.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of grew as well. Like, it's nice because the growth followed us along a little bit, because again, that started like in his home studio, going around to lay stuff down, and it was like a step up from what we started with the first couple of EPs. And then when was the first one we went to the studio? Was it?
I think it was 2021, Mad Fox.
Yeah, and then we went
in
Bury, and then we went to another studio in Bury, which was a bit bigger, and then we went to Southport. So it was like, as we've progressed with him, it's grown as well. Like the last studio we were in Southport was amazing. That
was when we did the Every Beautiful Night EP. That was an expensive trip, but it was kind of worth it. It was also residential as well, which we'd never done before. We'd always done, like up early in the morning, get to the studio, stay till late at night, get back home, get up early again, and you're knackered, mate. Whereas like when we were there, literally just like come the end of the session, have a beer, watch a bit of telly, go to bed, wake up, you're in the live room.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it was ideal. But I think with Oliver as well, a lot of it, not just in the studio, once we're finished in the studio, a lot of work goes, like he still works closely with us, mainly Drew, to get the final product. It's not like we leave the studio and they're like, right, see you later, and he'll send it us in a few weeks with nothing in between.
Yeah.
So the relationship's pretty good.
Me and him in particular have a very close working relationship production wise, and we've worked together on other artists in the past and stuff, because we just understand a kind of sound that we're both pursuing. Do you know what I mean? And he is someone who has studied it and worked in it a lot longer than me, so his knowledge base far exceeds mine, but I can bring certain things to the table that he doesn't think of, and vice versa. So when we end up working together on it, like Ollie said, throughout the whole recording process, I'm involved in the miking up and he's involved in the miking up. We're making decisions about placements, how we want to mic up this guitar cab, how we want to tune the drums, all those kind of things, because I obsess over that shit, mate. I love that studio stuff. Do you know what I mean? And then once we've recorded that and we're into the mixing process, we're sat there side by side, going through it, mixing the songs exactly how we want. The other lads get involved as well, do you know what I mean? They can come down, they throw some notes in the mix. We bring it together as a body of work all together, which is why it works so well with Oliver, because other producers, like you were saying, innit, you can just like do the studio, and then they're like, right, Cinnabit, I'm going to go mix it now. There's the final
Well,
product.
yeah, it's not. There's never been any like. You don't feel like you're stepping on his toes. Do you know what I mean? It's productive when you try and put an idea forward.
Yeah.
So we want to have a lot of involvement in the production, and he lets that happen, but still kind of puts his stamp on it.
He guides it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He guides it. There's a famous producer called Rick Rubin who did like Chili Peppers and Slayer and all that kind of stuff, and he talks about the idea of, he has like a very laissez-faire approach to music production where he just gently guides the artist towards where they want to go and just provides his extensive knowledge base. He's not like a Kanye West producer where he comes and surrounds the artists and moulds them into what he wants them to be, you know, like Pharrell Williams, those kind of producers. I think Oliver's quite similar. We're like, we've got the direction, we know where we want to go, just help us get there in as professional way as possible, innit?
Yeah.
So I would encourage any other bands that are reading / listening to go get in touch with the guy who's good.
Well, the interesting thing about Rick Rubin is that like he will, sort of add things to the creative process too, not just the production. Like he will listen to the song, kind of give notes on what they can add and what they can subtract. Is that the same with Oliver? I mean, like when it comes to producers, some producers are very hands off in terms of like the creative process. They're just about facilitating what the artist wants, where some are kind of more willing to kind of give their opinion on the direction of the music. So how is Oliver for that?
I think he's probably more the former, because Ewan and I are we're in simpatico on our writing. Like, we both understand the sound of the band, the lyrics of the band, the melody of the band, and I think that once we've got our finished product, while, you know, we're all ears to the other lads in the band and management and label and stuff like that, we believe that we've got it right from the offset, and usually we will take that finished product to Oliver, and Oliver will then just help us facilitate it. He'll sometimes make, like, you know, little melodic suggestions. There's another producer who we're friends with called Paul Copestake, who had the co-production credit on Every Beautiful Night, because he was involved a little bit in the writing as well. Just a few melodic changes, a couple lyrical suggestions. So it's not like we're a dictatorship, mate, where we're like, right, this is it, that's all that goes now. But we know we're good at what we do anyway.
Doesn't mean you don't get a bit excited sometimes.
He does, yeah. He does get a bit excited sometimes.
And he'll jump on the drum kit and say, I think you should play it like this.
Yeah, made some god-awful suggestions.
Yeah.
But, we kind of, you know, we think that we get it close enough in our initial phase of writing, and then it just gets fine-tuned as the process grows, you know?
Yeah. And you guys when we were talking about like the inspirations for this project, you guys mentioned people like, you know, Michael Head, War on Drugs, Verve, Morrissey. Just in terms of like the lifespan of this band, have new influences kind of crept in? I mean, just like through your own listening habits, have new additions come in beyond the initial kind of influences?
I'd say so. We listen to a hell of a lot of music, don't we?
Yeah, I should say they probably are the newer influences.
Yeah.
Like,
I think a lot of them come, like Michael Ed and that, and Smiths comes more so into the writing. Noel Gallagher, like lyricism. Same Richard Ashcroft from the Verve, but the sound of the band is certainly evolving as we listen to more shit.
Yeah, but we've got like a pretty varied mix between the four of us, haven't we? What we listen to, so it kind of all comes into it, but it can be hard to pinpoint sometimes.
I like the fact that our music always has an air of atmosphere to it, and it's like, I'm not going to call it psychedelic, but it pulls on the strings of psychedelic sounds and stuff. And, you know, Verve did that well, War on Drugs did that well, but me and you listen to a hell of a lot of like atmospheric electronic music, you know, like Air, Avery Corporation, things like that. Ewan's into a bit of that as well. And like when we're on tour, mate, when we're driving for literally like 7 hours on the road, we'll go through like all these genres that we like, a few live albums and that, and then we'll always end up setting on like chilled electronic, like late 90s, early 2000s, 07, Sophie Barker, all that.
Whether that's because it's 2 a.m.
But I think even the fact that we're all into those like cool sound effects, big atmosphere, like chilled sounds, that bleeds through to our music, because I think our music can be a lot more chilled than our peers. Do you know what I mean? We have like the big, heavier hitting singles.
Yeah, because that's probably one we've not really said as an influence before, is the amount of more electronic stuff that we listen to.
Because we listen to a hell of a lot of it, we just never cite it because it's not really...
Because there's no guitars in it.
Yeah. Well, there is some in there. Yeah. But I'd maybe say that then. You know, we'll go with like that late 90s, early 2000s atmospheric electronic stuff.
And the other thing I wanted to ask about is like with touring and stuff, like, so the traditional wisdom, I guess, with touring has always been like, you know, you tour around and, you know, every year you come back, you're playing a bigger place, you're playing a bigger venue, and the venues kind of have consistency. So like, you know, people used to be like a club band, and then next year there'd be a theater band, maybe work their way up to like, you know, an arena band and so on. Do you find there's that kind of, not just for you guys, but like just for artists now, there's that consistency? Because what I find very interesting now is even like in a small country like Ireland, where I'm from, it's like, you know, bands might be playing very different venues in like different cities. So like they might be playing a theater in Dublin, but then like somewhere else they might just be like playing a club. I know in Manchester you guys have been like, you know, you've had that kind of growth where you're playing like much bigger venues. But do you find that that's consistent throughout the UK, or is it still kind of random in terms of like, you know, where you guys are going to headline?
It's varied. I think, further away you get from Manchester, the smaller venues get, probably. Apart from London.
Yeah. London's an anomaly.
No, we've done like the circuit, I suppose, a good few times now. So we build pretty steadily everywhere, but it is pretty random, because I say that, but actually like Southampton on the tour did really well.
Yeah.
And Southampton last time we were there did really well, which was really far away. Scotland we always do well.
There's just random little anomalies dotted about, isn't there?
Yeah.
I think we've grown in Manchester organically, haven't we? It's like, it's made sense. It's gone like smaller, bigger, that kind of thing.
Well, that's like back to what we were talking about right at the start, like that growth. When we first started within Manchester, it was just gigging, which is why we do, you know,
we also gigged a hell of a lot at the start. A lot, man. We had like one a week.
Yeah, and it was all in Manchester though. So it was like, that's why we've been able to build well.
Sometimes like 2 a week. Like all our mates were like, mate, again, £5 ticket again. I'm like, bro, I know, just come please.
But then, you know, obviously it's harder to get to other cities with that frequency. But we've done it a lot now. So like Sheffield, Leeds, Liverpool, places that are only an hour away, we can probably do a few more tickets there. But to be honest, the last tour we've done is probably smaller than we've done in the past.
They were smaller venues, but way more dates. Like it's the largest amount of dates we've ever done.
Yeah.
But it can sort of tweet around, because we've done tours in the past where, you know, you're in like a 200 cap venue and you sell 150 tickets, so you can't call it sold out. This tour we were kind of like, let's do 120 cap or 150 cap venue, get closer to selling it out. You know, a couple of them did. So it's like, I think when you're doing venues across the country that are like under 400 cap, you kind of ebb and flow with it. Sometimes you do a bit more, sometimes you do a bit less, and then the moment you actually start breaking, and you know, that'll be for us when Manchester gets to like over 1,500 tickets, London gets over 500, everywhere else just starts to grow exponentially then. Because, you know, you're getting put on bigger tours, your numbers are getting better, your finances are getting better, like the snowball just grows, doesn't it? And I think that is when you'll see a more linear relationship everywhere else. All the venues will start to grow. But we're in this like weird in-between phase where that hasn't quite happened yet, it's simmering. So at the minute we're just kind of doing this with the venues, aren't we? Slowly growing the sales, but like sitting around there. Yeah,
it depends what you've got going on before it as well. Like if you're doing a few supports or whatever, and you hit a city and it's a decent gig, and you're back there a month later, that could be the most random place in the country.
Stroud.
Like Stroud. But then, like we did all right. We did well in Bristol and Southampton, which are the closest cities there, because we've just played in Stroud. So
Yeah, I know. There's method to the madness, mate. Believe it or not.
I have to ask, what was the gig in Stroud?
It was the Rifles, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Supporting the
It
Rifles.
was a cool venue, that. I can't
It
remember.
was a cool venue. Suburbs, maybe?
I think
Something like
so,
that.
yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, supporting a band called the Rifles. It was a bit of a last minute thing. We were all in work the next morning, early. Agent was like, "We'll go Stroud." We were like, "Yeah, okay, let's go." Decent though, mate. Got to be done, hasn't it?
That's interesting. You mentioned being in work. So I was going to ask, is this like something you can commit to full time? Because what I find very interesting is like, acts that I consider very successful and very prolific and consistent. Like when you actually talk to them, they're like, actually, this is just something we're doing alongside our full time job or alongside this. How do you guys kind of like, I guess, considering like, how much you're on tour and how much you're recording and releasing, how do you actually kind of prioritize the band in terms of like your time slot, in terms of management and things like that, in terms of, because you mentioned also that even when you're not recording, you're rehearsing a lot. So like, how do you kind of
Right.
find the time to do all that? Yeah.
It's difficult, mate, but you make it work. You find the
Yeah.
balance, because at the end of the day, if you let your job be all consuming, the band stops and then your passion stops. Do you know what I mean? This band is more than a hobby for any of us. It's purpose. Do you know what I mean? It's what we want to do with our lives, and we understand that the job is just what pays the bills to facilitate doing this. That's we're all in agreement on that. And there are bands out there, and I think there was even an interview with like Wonder Horse not that long ago, where you look at them and you look at the figures they're doing, and like they're doing brilliantly. And I think Jacob Slater was saying like they all still work some form of job on the side of it. And you sometimes think to yourself like, bloody hell, even if we get to that level, are we still going to be working? But I guess it's all relative, isn't it? You find you just find your own balance where, when you're touring, it can be difficult, man, because you'll be down in London doing a gig, not getting home till 2 a.m, then bang, you're up at 6:30 for work, and you just got to go in and get through your day. And then in an ideal world, you'd be able to book all the dates off, and sometimes we can book time off, but everyone who's got a job will know you can't just go to your manager and say like, "Can I have 4 weeks off, please?" Kind of doesn't.
And
work
also,
like
it's not even just like you. It's like, you have like, all the members having to like do that too. So it's like, even if you could potentially do that, even if you had a job with a manager who was cool with that, it's not just you. It's like you have to have everyone there too,
Yeah, everyone's got to align. In a way that helps though, because you kind of like, you've got a responsibility to make it work, so you're not the one who's pulling a gig or can't make it to rehearsal that day, do you know what I mean? So you've got the other people all leaning on you if you're the one who can't get there, but it doesn't mean it's easy.
No, it's part of the deal though, isn't it, man?
Yeah.
Like, when people ask us about it, you can't just sit and whinge about it like, woe is me, I still have a job on the side of this. It's like, well, of course you've got a job. If all of us were doing this band at this level and none of us had a job, you'd have to have millionaire parents. Do you know what I mean? You just wouldn't be able to live. Like, you've got to work while you're doing this shit.
Yeah, like we're paying for the tour and stuff like that, like we're funding it ourselves.
We still pay
work,
for quite a lot ourselves as a band. Do you know what I mean? It's great that we've got an independent label involved and they help us with promoting said material, but when it comes to paying for hotels, fuel costs,
petrol, all that,
recording costs,
when you've got that many dates on your tour. So
and the only way we get that money, like you say, is through working.
Yeah,
we send it about. Like, we all share the load. Do you know what I mean? No one is more out of pocket than anyone else. But
we have kind of like manoeuvred ourselves into situations at work that we can kind of make it work.
Yeah,
we can get a day off for a gig. But like, you need to, if someone offered us a support tour with a massive artist, and it was like, right, someone's dropped out, we need you to do 5 days next week somewhere. Like, we've got to be able to just go and do it.
Yeah.
I mean, if we want to make it seriously, then we've got to be able to be off somewhere at the drop of a hat.
That's one hell of a sick day, isn't it? I mean, I guess it would also be worth mentioning that at the level of the industry that we're at, there's no money in it yet for us.
Yeah.
We're under no illusion that we're not going to make money for quite a while, mate, because the majority of the money comes from the live scene. Do you know what I mean? All of your royalty payments and stuff like that. It's great that it can go to publishers and labels and all that kind of stuff, and depending on your deal, you'll get a cut of that back. It's all recoupable, that kind of thing. That's how the business model works. So you make no money from your streams, realistically. The only way we're going to make consistent money is selling merch, t-shirts, vinyl, CDs, all that, and gigging well and gigging often. But in order to get into that position, you've got to have the backing of people to get you there. It's like, it's a cycle, man. And until you get to the upper echelons of the industry, where you can actually quit your job and make it your day job, I feel like then, if we all actually could quit our job and just do this like every day, it'd grow even quicker, because like,
yeah, and it'd make
much more time,
all that content and all that stuff a hell of a lot easier as well.
It would,
when you've got to throw yourself in front of the camera after a full shift.
Yeah, but again, wouldn't every band say that, man? This is what you sign up for. This is the deal.
Yeah.
Do you guys get hit by merch cuts at the venues? Have you experienced that yet?
Once or twice.
Yeah, only if it's an O2.
Yeah, we tend, if they take a percentage, we tend to go tell them to fuck themselves. We just don't really sell it.
Sometimes they do it when, like, they don't let you sell your own merch
at all,
and then they've got to let someone else, and then they'll take a cut to pay that person who's selling your merch.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like, there's a rep selling it.
Sometimes that kind of makes sense, but
we've had a couple in the past where they just don't let you sell it, but they're normally like all-day festivals or like multi-venue festivals.
They're the ones that take a cut, and we just like, no, we're all right.
Yeah. We do a lot of the merch stuff just ourselves. You know what I mean? Like every band does. After the show, bang, straight to the merch desk, try and make back the petrol money that we've just spent.
That's where you meet people as well. Everyone wants to come and have a chat. So
true. Yeah, true.
Some people don't care, but a lot of people want to have a chat. Too many people.
Well, I know it's like a lot of acts that are on that kind of like who are doing it consistently and who are probably playing some of the kind of like 1,500 seaters. Like what they're doing now is like doing the pop up. So they find like a bar that's near the venue, or they find somewhere. They go, hey, 2 hours before the gig, we'll be here selling merch. Come meet us. And I think that's a good business venture because, like, it kind of allows you to meet the fans, as you mentioned, but also you take 100% of the take,
Yeah,
and also.
Definitely.
It kind of hurts the fans a bit because then they have to up the price of their thing to break even. So I think it's better for everyone to be like, hey, come here, you can get your t-shirt or whatever cheaper, and then
Tim Burgess does something like that, doesn't he? He does like that Tim's merch market, something like that.
Yeah.
Tim Burgess from the Charlatans. He does like a big all-day event, doesn't he?
I can't remember what it's called, but like everyone just goes to sell the merch.
I don't even think bands play. It's sick. He's just like everyone goes and set up a store.
A few stages, like a little acoustic sets.
And that. Yeah, and then everyone just goes and like sells their shit. It's good. It's like, if you get merch is something that we've always tried to take quite seriously, like getting good designs, because we got lucky with our logo. It was a lad from our high school, a lad that me and you knew. And like we told him that we were making the band, and he was an incredible artist, and he just drew that like Manchester B with the rose as the bulb, and we were both straight away like, that is sick, mate. It's now tattooed on about 8 people.
Yeah.
But I think if you've got a good logo and you like wearing nice clothes, do you know what I mean? Then you can make merch that sort of looks all right, and then if people want to buy it, we've always wanted people to buy our merch not because it's obviously a band t-shirt. Some
like
of the
you
stuff
want to wear it,
some of the stuff more lazy kind of has, but like the tote bags, they've got like that B just with Manchester, and it's embroidered and it's nice quality and all that. People are coming up and buying it, not even knowing, like they've not been to see us as a supporter.
This is a nice bag anyway.
And they're like, who's that? Like, it's ours. Like, can I have it? Like, yeah. It's just a nice bag. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I personally hate them band t-shirts that are like Rosellas, World Tour, all the dates, like big logo on the back. I'm like, bro, I would never fucking wear that out.
It is like, it's an important thing though for like any band, because obviously it's funded our tours, it's funded our EPs for pretty much the whole time we've been going.
Yeah.
And then it also allows us to give something back though. Do you know what I mean? We're not going to start asking for donations for stuff.
Yeah.
So we actually get to give something then to the fans that are supporting us.
Yeah, that's something we've always been big on, innit?
Yeah.
We never wanted to sort of ask for handouts or a GoFundMe kind of thing. It was like, nah, we'll just get some t-shirts made. And to be fair, some people, like when they're at the merch desk, they're like, what, 20 quid? Now I'll give you 50, mate. And we're like, what, you sure? Oh no, don't give me 50 quid. Because some people are just mad for it and they really want to support you. So,
I was thinking there when you mentioned all that, you should probably here's a business venture, right? So for money and to kind of raise the profile of the band, you should cut a deal with Primark.
Imagine get Rosellas branded women's underwear.
People buy the logo and then you'd be like, "Oh, I love that band." It's like, "Oh, I didn't know it's music," and then they'll listen to it.
Well, the guy that actually works on our merch is sort of looking at getting some of the embroidered T-shirts into like independent clothes shops, and stuff.
Yeah, he wants to try and get it into pop-ups and that, just
because it's a nice fashion item, isn't it?
Yeah. Like well, we've started doing the embroidered, and it is more expensive, and but it's like. Yeah, everyone just buys the cheap T-shirts and you wash them a couple of times and they're wrecked anyway. So it's like we are trying to get something actually decent to give people.
But price comes with that, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's all relative.
Yeah, but people are willing to do it. 'Cause people do want to support, and they're like the items for people who've already got one of everything else.
Yeah. Which there are, funnily enough, there are people who have like one of everything we've ever fucking made. It's like, mate, you get a life. We love it.
People have made their own stuff before.
Yeah, bootlegs.
Yeah.
I want to go back to something you were saying earlier. You were talking about like, people come to shows and like, expecting to hear stuff off slow dancing. You mentioned earlier that like your first EP, you guys deleted. So what is there a certain point where you're like, okay, we're not going to delete our back catalog at a certain point, or because like to me, I actually think there's like great continuity between the music you guys are making. Is that conscious? Like, do you kind of go like, okay, we have to kind of, there has to be a level of predictability, or like not predictability, but like continuity and consistency, or is the music that comes out just a result of you guys working together and there's going to be that kind of consistency?
I think that first EP, we all collectively decided it just didn't sound good enough anymore because it was just bedroom demos.
I mean, I've got a lot of material.
We had, I think at one point, didn't we have like 60 tunes on there?
Yeah, and I think
just need to clean it up.
I don't know if I'm wrong, but maybe some of those tunes might have made it onto B-sides or different versions. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe different versions.
So some of it is dotted around in the other releases, but there's just a lot of material. I think we probably are aware of the continuity, but it's more about sort of making one release being together.
Yeah, there's been a natural continuity between the sound growing and the songwriting maturing, but not through any like intention of our own. I guess that's just formed as we've got better as musicians, as our taste has improved, and as we've started to hone in on our sound. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's not only that we took off Spotify.
No, there was loads of other stuff. There was like a couple acoustic versions, like remix, a random like song we brought out at Christmas once.
Yeah, your Christmas single.
Yeah,
you were trying to cash in.
we cleaned it up. Do you know what I mean? But that was a personal decision, and we know that, like, you know, when you get to the major league game, a lot of the time they'll make you clean your Spotify completely. It'll just be cleared, and then the first release you bring out is your first release, because 99% of people that you're then exposed to have never seen you before, so they don't know if that's your first release or not, and it's easier to market like, overnight break, here's the first album and shit. But we've actually done a lot of it in physicals though as well. So like the CDs we've put out tend to have an extra 5 tracks on, and there might be acoustic versions or demos or slightly different bits. So we do try and get it out there still. And we had that demo CD, like the first one we ever did. Yeah,
so that was like, have that music still. That
was something that we robbed from Arctic Monkeys, because I remember reading about the fact that Arctic Monkeys and the formation of MySpace, and or rather the peak of MySpace, they would just circulate demos around, hand out, you know, like little burned CDs and all that. And they got massive off that because everyone was on MySpace. Now, in 2019, when we were doing it, MySpace is basically bloody non-existent. But I still thought the idea of demoing these songs at home, which for me was a piece of piss, you know, I could just sit there and do it, whip it all out dead quick. And we'd have like 10 tracks on a CD, and every gig we'd do ever, whether it was an open mic, a gig of our own, a support gig, we'd just give these CDs out for free. We used to give out like 20 a night. I was burning through cash, mate. I used to even print off like a little paper inlay and it'd be like Rosellas demos. And we had demos 1, demos 2 and demos 3. Yeah. We had 3 albums of it. And every time we just kept giving them out, and that was over the course of maybe 2 years.
And then we had that collection one, which was like 4 releases together.
That was 4 releases in one. To be fair, I like the fact that there's a lot of music on our Spotify because you can see the growth. And there are, like, one of my favourite songs we've done is a B-side to Damaged called The Edge. And I wrote that when I was quite a bit younger and sort of took it to Ewan and we fleshed it out. And I can tell that the lyrics aren't what I would now write. I cringe at some of them, do you know what I mean? But the sound of it, when I listen to that, I'm like, yeah, that was me when I was 21. I like that. I like the sound of it. Whereas when I listen to Slow Dance, I'm like, yeah, don't really like the sound of that anymore. Do you know what I mean? So I like the fact that they're still there, they're still up, and we've always been a band that's been prolific enough to put out B-sides and put out random.
We've always said that from the start, that we don't want to lose the B-sides.
Yeah.
There's plenty of people just throw out a single or one track.
Yeah.
And yeah, probably does better for your streams, and it might do better. You can focus in, but we've always tried to. The songs are there, so otherwise, there's probably hundreds of them that never even made it to the B-side and have just been forgotten about. So,
but also the beauty of the B-side, man, the fact that like you can put a really slow, lethargic ballady number there, or something.
That's what I mean.
Really chilled.
So there's plenty of those type of tunes that wouldn't have even made it there. The C-sides that never got released.
The D-sides.
Yeah.
Well, so let's talk about your new EP then. So Shadow Dancing. So it came out, like I said, we're recording at the weekend of its release. So I was wondering, like, when you go to record an EP, is it kind of like, is it made with like consistency in mind? Like, do you kind of write the songs as one collective bunch, or are they kind of individual songs that you've written over time that you kind of think fit together?
It depends, really, man. It can be both. I think on this EP, Beautiful Lonely is a tune that we've had for quite some time, but it used to be very, very different. It's been rewritten, rehashed, restructured. It's kind of a new song in its own. The rest of the songs were all kind of written to fit the EP. I think as soon as me and you sit down and we're like, right, what have you got? This, and this. It doesn't take long to pick 5 that sound similar. And then, or when I say sound similar, have a similar theme or vibe to them. Do you know what I mean? We don't want every single song on an EP to be about love. We don't want it all to be about heartbreak. We don't want it all to be about dark stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a balance to have, but you just know when a song fits together with a body of work. And then it's my job in the demoing phase to make it sound like it fits together. And then when we go into the studio as a band, we just continue that. Do you know what I mean? I think all these ones, Every Beautiful Night sounds like a body of work. Shadow Dancing sounds like a body of work. Even Somewhere in Between sounds like a body of work, although the sound of that isn't what we sound like anymore. Yeah. It was more heavy Oasis-y kind of sound, but it fits, you know what I mean? If you were to put them albums on one by one on vinyl, you would think, yeah, this is a band that is they know their sound within that thing. Do you know what I mean? It's not like you've got a fucking Madonna song first and then like a War on Drugs song second, then an Oasis song third. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with this EP, what was the kind of, I guess, the idea for, like, what was the, I guess, kind of true line for you?
We got the name pretty much straight away, and sort of worked from there. We had sort of ideas that we then fleshed out into full songs. We had the name. We knew what we wanted the cover to look like, with it being like shadow dancing, like, just like a shadow that was dancing kind of thing. We knew what the content was going to be like, and then
so it was the first time for a while that we've actually had the EP named after a track as well.
Yeah, that is true, because for Every Beautiful Night that was a lyric in one of the songs, whereas this was a
Somewhere
track.
in Between was a lyric.
And Shadow Dancing wasn't a single off the EP either. We wanted to make sure of that. We wanted to bring out singles of a different name, and then the EP drops, oh, there's the title track, let's go and check that out. I think I approached this with Oliver in a slightly different way production-wise, because we had, on Every Beautiful Night, it was very crisp and clean and high fidelity. There was a lot of high-end information in there, and the drums were very tight and sharp. The guitars were quite trebly, and it worked for that EP, but I much prefer the sound of Shadow Dancing because it's darker and warmer. There's a hell of a lot less high-end in it. The vocals are smoother. And we went through a change as a band where we parted ways with our keys player, and on Every Beautiful Night there was quite a lot of keys in all the songs. Shadow Dancing now, the keys work far better because it's just small intentional parts of keys and synth, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not an overbearing thing that it sometimes could used to feel like. So it became a lot more directed, intentional. All the parts serve a purpose. It was recorded with a certain sound in mind, and then we just needed to nail the performance.
When we went into Every Beautiful Night, we did want to simplify, didn't we? We wanted to like
compared to other stuff, yeah, massively,
compared to what we've done,
massively. Mate, your boy's gone.
He's gone. Yeah.
Sorry, I just went to get my charger. Sorry, but things like that. Sorry.
We stripped, but then moving on to Shadow Dancing, we kept that like simplicity, but honed the sound a bit more.
Yeah, I'd agree. Like even basic things, like, because I did a lot of the guitar recording this time, and Oliver comes from quite a heavy rock metal background of production, where the guitars are really sharp and choppy and crisp. I prefer that kind of like War on Drugs vervy guitar, where it's a bit darker and a bit more swelly. And because I was tracking the guitars for this one, I just moved the mic further to the edge of the cone, turned the treble down, turned the tone pots down on my guitar, made it sound darker and warmer. And I think like that whole approach in the studio, the way we tracked, it hardly needed to be mixed.
And you know what we did, which I don't know why, but we never really used to do, was actually just using all of our own gear. Like, like what we use on stage, so it sounds like more like us. Like, it's rather than going into the studio full of amps and full of pedals and full of something like, oh yeah, you know, use this, try and make it sound, you know, trying to achieve something. Where actually, when we started to use, you know, your amp, your guitar, and your pedal board, and nothing else, then that's what we sound like, and that's what we sound like on stage.
Yeah, I think I remember in the Arch, mate, we had a Mesa Boogie head going through like a Zilla cab. Get Over Yourself was recorded on some
there was like pedals everywhere, like
none
of them were ours.
There was like a weird amp that looked like it was from the 1920s that had some weird uni vibe built into it, and I recorded the riff for Get Over Yourself on it, and in the studio we were all like, yeah, this is sick, and then now when I play it live through my gear, I'm like, it sounds so much better. Yeah. Why didn't we just record with my gear?
We consciously did that, I think.
We did.
This one.
Yeah,
we did. Let's use our gear and let's only use what we've got on the stage.
And it's come out sounding more like us, hasn't it? Yeah, definitely.
Do you guys always have like a consideration for like, you know, stuff you're recording being able to be replicated live, or were you kind of happy to let the recording be one thing and the live sound be another? Because you mentioned there, like, you know, losing the keys, for example, you know, from the live set, like, so does that fundamentally force you to alter your sound when you're playing those songs live, or is it kind of easy to replicate?
I think we're pretty fluid when we play live because we rehearse a lot. So by the time we get to the stage, we know what we're doing. But like early days of rehearsing is kind of just like playing it. There isn't really too much thought going into it, rather than like trying to figure out what sounds good. And then leading up to the gig, that's where we sort of try and lock it in a bit. But we'll throw in, you know, a little bit of a cover into a tune, or a little bit of a section that isn't on the track, or things like that. So it's not necessarily trying to make a perfect replica. And to be honest, we've done that for a long time, where we've thrown in little extras where, you know, you only get to hear it live. So the people in the room, you know, or the people that notice anyway, get to see something a little bit different.
Me and him are like a massive fan of the Chili Peppers, and they used to just jam relentlessly on stage and add intros and outros to songs. So did the Verve, so did the War on Drugs. When I went to see the War on Drugs, they were brilliant with it because their intros were all psychedelic and expansive and that, and we've always tried to adopt that live because we want people to come away from it thinking that was much better than just listening to them in your car. Whereas there are bands out there that just carbon copy what they do in the studio, and it's like, it's great, you get to hear it live and it's louder, but what is really live about that? Do you know what I mean? Can you flesh it out more? Can you change it? There are certain sounds that we've achieved in the studio that just can't be replicated live unless we have a session player or, you know, something like that.
Yeah,
we've
sometimes
thrown
fundamental to the song, like we're going to leave it in.
Cool little sound effect or something. We'll like throw that on a backing track because we perform to click live and stuff. But we're not out there miming to like big ass tracks. Like, some pop
do
bands,
the top of the pops method.
Yeah, there's some pop bands out there that just have 99% of what you're hearing on track. Come on.
You
But
guys
yeah.
should do live. You guys should do live television because they always force you to play to a backing track. It'd
I
be a nice
know.
experience.
I know. Who was that famous? That girl that famously she was from
Oh, Ashley Simpson, is it?
eating the banana because she refused to mime.
Oh no, that's not what I'm thinking of.
Is that
I was thinking
Mamas and
of
Papas?
Ashley
Mamas and the
Simpson.
Papas, that's it.
Mamas and Papas,
Yeah.
yeah.
In protest to mime, she was just scranning a banana. I was like, yeah, man, that's what we do. That's what we do.
I also love like you see like on the old Top of the Pops, some of the people who'd be protesting that would just be playing the wrong instruments. So it'd be like give the bassist like the drum kit
Yeah.
and
I
like the
remember
singer
seeing
will
Oasis do that. Yeah, Liam was playing the guitar and Noel was singing,
But it's Liam's voice.
but it was Liam's voice. Yeah, that's it. It just takes the piss, man. It's hilarious. I
Yeah.
don't really get that whole miming thing, but that Top of the Pops, it isn't a big thing anymore, is it? Like,
No.
No, not at all.
I think the biggest kind of exposure you could probably get today's equivalent would be like going on Saturday Night Live or chat shows, things like that.
Yeah, I don't know if they full
Yeah.
time or not there. I don't know. They
Yeah.
probably do. I don't
Yeah.
watch it.
Still,
Well, do you
good,
find
though.
that difficult? Because like, before it'd be like if you get on this show, like say Top of the Pops or whatever other show, if you get on this chat show, it would be like, millions of people would see you in one night. But like now because everyone is like doing their own thing, everyone's like, on the internet, no one really watches like television as much. People listen to radio still, but like, again, it depends on which show. It's not like John Peel or something like that, where it's like, here's a trendsetter. Do you find it more difficult then to get kind of like attention from for your band that's not from the people who are already kind of aware of you? Like that's the good thing about like doing live shows and doing festivals, right? It's that like that people get exposed to you very directly. But in terms of like I guess the media, do you find that more difficult now, or do you think it's better now because it kind of gives other artists kind of a chance at exposure compared to like
I'd
just
say
seeing the media?
I'd say the equivalent of that nowadays, like the equivalent of the Ed Sullivan show for the Beatles would be going on the likes of Britain's Got Talent, The Voice, The X Factor, and all that. Like, yeah, sure, it gives you X amount of overnight exposure, but you're just tin pot. You're not banned if you're doing that. Do you know what I mean? You're not.
Yeah,
We're never going to do that kind of shit.
It's people. It all leans more towards social media, though. Anyway, doesn't it?
It does.
So like,
TikTok, virality on TikTok holds the power now.
yeah,
That
and
is
like what it is at festivals. If you're playing at a stage and there's like an interview before, it's going to get thrown on Instagram first. Like that's where people are going to pick it up, and that's like what we were saying before. It can be so hit and miss because you can't see the wood for the trees in the amount of videos that are getting pumped out.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably what makes it difficult to get spotted. It's just how much it's getting thrown out on social media.
Yeah,
And that's where it gets directed.
There's
to.
a hell of a lot of bands if you think about it, man. And more importantly, there's a hell of a lot of good bands. And there's actually, admittedly, some shite bands who are in way better position than they actually deserve to be. Not going to mention names, but
Fair enough.
it happens. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
we're in a game where the competition is unbelievable. There are so many bands and artists around, and if you want to take like cheap chances at exposure as the way that you're going to try and make it, then fair enough. If that's your game, go for it. But we want to do it through graft and writing good music.
Yeah, it's like
You know
being
what I mean?
selective, isn't it? Like trying to pick the right things to do.
Yeah, I think like to answer your question directly, it's both harder and easier, because if you got on the Ed Sullivan show as the Beatles in 1963, of course you're going to go global. Do you know what I mean? One of the easiest fucking things you could ever do. Whereas now to go viral on TikTok, mate,
Yeah.
complete and utter luck of the
Yeah,
draw.
it's probably easier to get
Yeah.
in, harder to get noticed.
I'd agree. Yeah.
Well, thanks very much for your time, lads. I won't take up too much more. Just going to ask, is there anything you'd like to add before we wrap up? Anything I failed to cover? And if you want to plug like shows you have coming up, because I know you're doing some shows in July, right?
Yeah. Is this going to be a written interview or
I'm going to use both, probably. Yeah, I'm going to
Yeah.
do both. So yeah.
So we do.
So I'll have all the links to the fucking tickets and stuff. Like
Yeah.
where people can find it.
You can mention the fact that we are getting back in the studio in the next few weeks to do another EP. So
Oh, sick already.
no rest for the wicked, mate.
Yeah.
It's straight
Wait, actually,
back
how long did shadow dancing actually take from beginning to end?
in. Not that long. A few months.
Yeah.
From the moment we started writing to the moment it was mastered. Yeah, not too long. It's going to be the same with this one. We just, mate, we lock in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We lock in and just get it done. But yeah, a few shows in July. We've got Britfest in Cheshire on the 5th. We've got Tramlines Fringe in Sheffield on the 24th.
Yeah, Frog and Parrot in Sheffield.
24th. And then there's a few shows just towards the back end of the year.
We've got another headline in Hull.
Hull.
1st of August.
Hull 1st of August. A couple in October. Just the best thing to do would be to sort of point, highlight them and then point people towards the website and our socials where we keep it updated as it grows. And I guess, just mention the fact we're going back in the studio, so if anyone likes what we've been talking about, they can be like, there's more music coming. Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing.
There's always more music coming with Rosellas.
There's always more music coming with Rosellas. There's never not more music coming. It's too much fucking music coming.
All right. And we ever see you in Ireland?
I'd love to.
Hopefully, yeah.
I'd love to. Our booking agent is Irish, and I'm on to him. I'm like, mate, get us out. He used to work in Dublin.
There's a good scene in Ireland. There's a lot of good bands coming through.
Yeah.
So
I would really love to.
And they're very local too. So, like, for example, the Dublin, even though, like I said, it's a small country, the Dublin scene is very different from like the Cork scene, different from Galway, like the Belfast scene. Like, they're all very, very different, and you get like different venues, different crowds, and it's very interesting. Like, actually, I don't know if you plan, like, if you just come do a Dublin show, if you plan on like turning around, but like if you do plan to turn around, I think you will see that, like, each scene is so different, and so even though it's like such a small country, I know it's similar in the UK. Speaking to people who are in different music scenes across the UK, but obviously it's a much bigger country, so you kind of expect that. But even here, it's like, it's interesting.
Yeah,
do Slane Castle.
Do Slane Castle.
Straight into Slane Castle.
They haven't announced their headliner yet, so maybe I think people. I think people think it's going to be Sabrina Carpenter, so maybe you can open for her.
That'll be us, mate. Be us. Yeah. No, I would like to do that, though. I think touring the different cities would be a good idea. We'll definitely. We've got some fans in Ireland as well. People message us and like, you ever coming over? Because people have flown over for us.
Though, don't they?
Yeah, there's a couple that keep coming to Newcastle, and then people have been down to London. People have been to the big Manchester show. I would much rather just get over to Ireland, man. Because it's only a ferry as well. Do you know what I mean? We can get our guitars in the car. Like, it's not that bad. We've just got to actually plan it and get it done. Do you know what I mean?
We've had gig offers abroad before, haven't we? But logistically, it's a challenge.
We have.
But Ireland would be pretty achievable.
It would. I don't like the idea of getting on a plane with all my gear yet until I know that someone is looking after that. Do you know what I mean? Like, if we did a gig abroad, I'd need my guitar, my pedals, my amp. Not going there and hiring some fucking Fender Squire.
You wouldn't trust Ryanair to deliver your equipment?
No, absolutely not, mate. We can drive it there ourselves.
We'll swim over instead.
Yeah. Well, no, mate, thank you for your time yourself. I appreciate it, man. It's good chat.
Yeah.
Good chat.
Yeah, thanks very much, lads. It was lovely chatting with you. And
if you,
best luck for everything you've come.
If you ever want to come over to a gig or anything like that, mate, just keep in touch. You're more than welcome. Just shoot us an email.
Perfect. Thanks very much, lads. I'll definitely, if I'm ever over and you're playing, perfect.
Yeah. All right. Good man. Take it easy.
Take care,
then,
man. Love to meet you. Take care.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to that episode of Post-Burnout.com interviews. We're available wherever you get your podcasts, so we hope that you enjoyed and would consider subscribing, giving it a like on YouTube, or a rating anywhere else. We also have some exclusive episodes only available on Spotify, which features interviews with the likes of Kim Deal, Ron Mail of Sparks, Jacob Slater of Wonder Horse, Maria Kelly, Gavin Friday, and many more. So check those out if you're so inclined. Otherwise, thank you for listening and see you next time.